We are located today at the Military Court of Honor at the beautiful Largo Central Park. This Court of Honor is dedicated to all of the servicemen and women who served in the United States Armed Forces. We thought it would be fitting to open this program here, where Americans are honored for dedicating their lives to the security of our country and for the freedom of people everywhere. The Congressional Medal of Honor Foundation shared its character development program with Pinellas County schools starting in the 2018-2019 school year. The course covered the history of the Medal of Honor and the nature of heroism, allowing students to explore the 6 Medal of Honor character values. The year began with special presentations to and by teachers. It was highlighted by the appearance of Medal of Honor Award recipients. Mark Van Trees filled us in on the program's background.
Well, the program started about a year ago, and we reached out for the character development program where the fundamental basis is trying to teach kids to do the right thing at the right time for the right reason. And it's kind of grown to where, obviously, your county and schools have embraced it, and the thought was, let's have a contest, let's have the kids design a challenge coin, and then end of October, we're going to have 50 of the living Medal of Honor recipients here in Tampa for the convention. Then we're going to have the kids present their coin to the recipients at the President's Breakfast. So it's pretty special, pretty neat.
The importance of the Medal of Honor curriculum was underscored by Holly Roush, who became associated with the program at a teacher training session earlier this year.
I encourage all teachers to take the training because it will be a game changer in your classroom. So it's not political, it's not about war, it's not about the military, it's about making each of these students a better version of themselves, and they need to take a training. It'll change their classroom and their students' lives. Last February, there was a training for the character development program for the Medal of Honor Society, and I was the one that went to represent our school, and it was the best training I've ever been to. It was so inspirational, but yet it's a program that was developed by teachers for teachers with character development traits, so it was just an amazing, amazing time. Every Monday we have Medal of Honor Monday, so we focus on one of the 6 core values each Monday, and they have a lesson, and they watch Portrait of Valor, which is one of the videos of a Medal of Honor recipient. And then it's followed with a lesson after that.
I started with this program in the secondary training. I went to a secondary training in California. At the time there was not an elementary training. And so I had to adapt the secondary into a 6th grade classroom, and I started coming up with lessons and using the core curriculum they gave me and changing it to work for my students. I have found this program so valuable. I start my school year with it. I set the foundation for character. We talk about integrity is the biggest word in my classroom. It just sets the tone for the whole school year. We do a lot with community service at my school, so we use this program for veterans and the veterans of foreign war, and we participate in group activities and projects and raising funds and bringing awareness to our veterans. But it's not only about our veterans, it's about our everyday heroes. We actually recognize anyone who serves others.
I went to a training about 5 years ago and saw Gary Luttrell speak, one of our Medal of Honor recipients. And I absolutely fell in love with this training. It was a secondary training I went to, and at the time I had just started teaching 4th grade, so I went with a bunch of teacher friends and we all modified the lessons and started teaching. Well, so many teachers had gone to that training that we decided that as a district we were going to adopt this kindergarten through 12th grade. So 2 years ago we trained all the teachers, and it has made such a difference because they're hearing the same vocabulary now, kindergarten through 12th grade. They're learning how to make good choices when no one's watching, the integrity component. When they're working on those math problems, they have commitment to keep going when it gets really hard and they're not sure what to do, and to go back and find those resources that they might not have looked at otherwise.
Pinellas County teachers and students were inspired by the appearances of several Medal of Honor recipients throughout the year. Gary Luttrell spoke to the Pinellas County Schools JROTC Honors Luncheon, and the students took note of his message.
There's 71 living Medal of Honor recipients, and about 30 or 35 of us are able-bodied enough to get out in the schools and talk to our children. But character is our key to talking with the youth of America. And we use the 6 pillars of our character development program is integrity, commitment, citizenship, patriotism. And so we get in front of our students, and this is the conversation we have. Today, I want to get the children to thinking about who they are. When they look in a mirror in the morning, what do they see? And are they committed? Do they have integrity? And so I will ask them, look in the mirror and ask yourself, who am I? How do I want to be viewed by the person to my right and my left? And I get them thinking about their own character traits. Do you have the courage? Can you look in the mirror in the morning and say, I have courage because I will do the right thing at the right time for the right reason, and I will protect those that are weaker than me?
It's important to have character, especially in high school and in the world. You can have good morals, you can do good, be good, and you expect yourself to do better, and you put yourself on a higher level. And having a character and being able to have a good character is really good, and you can just be expected to do better.
People around me having character is very important. In the workplace, when I see people out, in the streets and stuff like that, character is very important to me, because if I can't trust you, then I'm not going to involve myself with you at all. So in the workplace, when I'm training employees, when I'm just talking to regular people, when they have confidence and they also present themselves in a good manner, whether that's their clothing, whether that's the way they talk to me, I always, I appreciate it a little bit more. And especially when I have younger kids, these 12-year-olds that come up and they shake my hand, thank you for your service, that means the world to me.
This program, to me, touches hearts, and it brings the students connect on such an emotional and social level with this program, and yet they're still learning academics, and they're still looking through curriculum and finding evidence. And so I feel like it just aligns perfectly with what you do in the classroom, and it doesn't have to be something more. It's just a little extra to put in with what you're already doing. So the value in this program is, I've been with the program for 5 years, I've been teaching it for 5 years, and training for 3, and I will never, this will always be the program that I will fall back on and I will use in my classroom.
We want to expand past the train the trainer and take the lessons into the classroom. We want to get as many recipients as we can. As we say in the society, we want to have eye to eye. We want the recipients to look in the eyes of the kids and talk about character. Our train the trainer and our lesson plans in the schools is fantastic, but we need to take it one notch further. And we need to have recipients in the classroom, and then hopefully we can take it one step above that and have the kids take what they've learned in character development into the community with projects.
This program, it provides for elementary, middle, and high, and the lessons they're providing for elementary are, I don't know who created them, but a lot of them are spot on for kindergarten, 4th grade, 5th grade, to bring to present to them, to show them. They're the right level for these kids at what they're asking them to do, using the rainbow fish for the kindergartners to show sacrifice, and having them create challenge medals or medal of honor. I used to do a lesson on creating your flag representing yourself and your school, and this is very similar to that. But when you do this whole lesson, the kids often have a hard time coming up with things to represent themselves. This is a wonderful program in several different ways.
It makes such a huge difference in their everyday lives. And hearing the stories, the lessons, what they're learning is that they can be those heroes. We have our Medal of Honor recipients, but in their everyday lives, they can still make those choices that make such a huge difference.
Medal of Honor recipient Gary Bykirk addressed a room full of teachers, telling his story of success, survival, and significance.
Well, in addition to being in the military, I worked 33 years as a middle school counselor. And both through the military and working with middle school children, I've learned some pretty important things about life, things that were taught to me by a 15-year-old mountain yard boy who I had a tremendous friendship with, who eventually gave up his life for me, saved my life. But one of the things that he taught me was that in life there's a big difference between success and significance. Success is something that's very important to a lot of us, but not all of us have the skills to be successful at our dreams. You know, we aren't going to all be professional athletes or things like that. But all of us have the ability to be significant. And Dale, the 15-year-old mountain yard boy, taught me that what significance is, it's making a difference in someone's life. Being able to change a person, being able to have an impact on them, being able to think about someone else more than yourself. And that's what I believe is really important in life. And that was one of the most important life lessons that I tried to teach my students during those 33 years. All of us are not going to be successful with our dreams, but all of us have the ability to make a difference in someone's life. And that's what this program is about. It's giving the students the skills and the tools to be able to know how to make the right choice at the right time, how to be able to make a difference in someone else's life, how to be able to think about someone else more than yourself. And those lessons were taught to me by a 15-year-old mountain yard boy. And because of his sacrifice and love for me, I've been committed to teaching that same lesson to students. And this character development program by the Medal of Honor Society is the perfect vehicle for that.
So students are very surprised about the Medal of Honor stories, about people who always say, I was just doing my job, I shouldn't have been recognized. And so I try and instill that in my students. How can you just do your job? There's no reward, there's no who gets the credit. It's this is your job, how can you help others? You don't have to receive anything in return. And they connect to that, they make a connection.
I love this program. I'm sorry I didn't get it years ago when I first started counseling and trying to work with elementary kids and teach them about not just patriotism, but about commitment, about honor, about sacrifice. Because this is showing them that there are people who actually do this thing, not for money, not for glory. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody sees it, or so they think, and they're doing this because it's the right thing to do.
I was a law enforcement officer for 5 years, and being a criminal justice teacher is a secondary job that I absolutely love. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and I wasn't entirely sure what this training today was going to entail, but after sitting through it and going over some of the lessons that they've brought to us, I think that my students will benefit greatly from it. I'm excited to bring it back to the classroom and bring them some knowledge that they may not have and they may not get from anywhere else but the classroom that they're in with me. And I think that they'll be excited as well for it.
It really does, they really do process it, and they do, you might not see it right away, but by the end of the year, you'll see that they've made changes, that they think differently, they want to be committed. I use commitment a lot in my classroom. Are you being a good citizen right now? Are you making good choices? So it does make a huge difference in my class. And again, I'm a 6th grade teacher, and the program I used was middle school, and I brought it to elementary. And if you're a 6th grade teacher, you can adapt up and down, so it makes it really nice because you can play with both curriculums.
Today we're doing a coin presentation and award for student artwork. The challenge to the students was to reinterpret one of the character traits from the Medal of Honor character development program and turn it into a visual representation, how they interpret the character trait. When we put this out there, we never knew what we were going to get, and to see elementary students and middle school students and high school students all submitting work, but then having an elementary student come up with a design that encompasses the character traits so well that their artwork stands out above everybody else's is amazing. So this has been a partnership over a year in the making. As the national conference for the Medal of Honor Foundation comes to town, they typically do outreach, educational outreach. And we were fortunate enough to be one of the counties that can participate in the character work that they're trying to do, but also bringing that work into our schools to support our students and to support character education K-12.
Congressional Medal of Honor is the highest award for valor in action against the enemy force, and the medal is generally presented by the President of the United States in the name of Congress, and it dates all the way back to the Civil War. And every year, the Congressional Medal of Honor Society hosts a national convention to honor past and present medal recipients. And this year, we're so lucky to have this convention to take place right here in the Tampa Bay region. As part of the convention preparation, the convention committee partnered with the Congressional Medal of Honor Foundation to bring their character development program to school districts in the Tampa Bay area. And in conjunction with the host committee, we created this new part of the program, a coin design competition for students. And so students throughout the district and students really throughout the region were invited to create this Medal of Honor coin design that embodies one of the program's core values. And you know what they are, right? Courage, sacrifice, patriotism, citizenship, integrity, and commitment.
The students were challenged to reinterpret or to visually interpret one of the 6 core character traits from the Medal of Honor. And the students were challenged with creating a coin that represents the character trait, but then also has an option of including kind of a Florida theme to it. And so they had both options for that, and the students were challenged to do a 4-inch diameter design that could be transferred onto a coin representing one of those character traits.
The winner of the winning design, a young lady by the name of London Handy.
It's just a really good opportunity for her to learn what the Medal of Honor is, and we're just really excited and happy.
Our school counselor decided to take part in it since our school is a big character education school, and it just blossomed from there. She incorporated our art teacher, and all of the students, grades 3 through 5, took part in it. So we had over 300 students who participated. They really did it all on their own. Like I said, we're a huge character school, so I think that the fact that it tied into character education and the character words like courage and honesty really helped with it and made it a little easier.
We're very lucky that we have this school entered a number of contestants, and we have one that was selected out of all the entries. Looking for Bryce Meyer.
First, it was just like another school thing. I was like, oh, I'll volunteer and do it because nobody else really was. So it feels pretty good just to know how I went that far with my design. I'm really proud of myself. I mean, I feel like it's an honor to be selected. So
he and his brother always make his mother and I very proud. But this is really special. My grandfather was a World War II vet, and my father was in the Army during Vietnam. So military service means a lot to us, and we're thrilled.
Welcome to Thurgood Marshall Fundamental Middle School. I am Ms. Nicole Wilson, principal. It is indeed an honor to recognize one of our former students, Isabella Cruteau, who won the letter writing competition and designing a coin for the Medal of Honor.
Okay, Isabella Cruteau, come on up. And I'll read to you what she wrote sacrifice meant to her, and it's engraved on the back of the coin. This medal represents sacrifice. There are many things soldiers sacrifice. They sacrifice their time, relationships, and even sometimes their lives. The biggest sacrifice is their life. This medal is a cross and an honorary wreath to honor those who sacrifice themselves to keep us safe.
Well, it actually took me a good solid hour to go through all of my ideas that were not great, because I had the idea of doing a star, but it wouldn't be equal on all sides because I didn't have the exact measurements sort of thing. And I also wanted to do one that was like a clock, represent like the time that's sacrificed, but then that's too intricate, so I had to figure out one that was both detailed enough and not just a blank coin.
Pinellas County students had the opportunity to present their challenge coins to 46 of the 70 living Medal of Honor recipients at a special breakfast at the Medal of Honor annual convention held at the Marriott Water Street Hotel in downtown Tampa.
Each year the Congressional Medal of Honor Society meets in a convention There are 70 members of the Congressional Medal of Honor Society. Each is a Medal of Honor recipient. The character development program was started by the Society in the 1990s as a way for the members of the Congressional Medal of Honor Society, the Medal of Honor recipients, to work with the youth of America to help them choose how to do the right thing at the right time in the right way. And they, using oral histories and lessons, talk to our young people in a way to help them make that choice. Well, that goes back to the creativity of the wonderful teachers we have in the region, who instead of looking at this project as simply a writing assignment or a social studies, our art teachers decided to look at this as a way of teaching symbolism. And they asked the students to come up in their own way how to express it. And the medium that they chose was a military challenge coin, a small round object with an image and then some sort of verbiage on it. And it allowed the students to distill down what it meant to them. And we have some wonderful examples today of exactly how the students did that out of 500 entries that were submitted.
Hi, I'm Isabella, and I made this to represent sacrifice.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's given me a lot more knowledge of just what it means basically to serve. Like, my father does serve, but he never really tells us all the little details, and it's really cool to learn about them and research. Awesome. Thank you so much.
I was really happy that I got to see all these cool people and that what they did, and I was really excited to give them my coins, and that I was able to do this.
It's truly an honor to meet some of the Medal of Honor recipients because they sacrifice their lives for this country. So, I don't know, I just think that's really cool. I gave them my coin. They said, wow, that's amazing, wow, that's really cool. And they just seem to be really proud, so. It means a lot because I feel like learning the history of your country is a big deal. You should know it. I've said thank you for your service and thank you for your sacrifice. So.
I mean, it's nice to see these kids even thinking about not us old folks here. We like to pass it along. So.
Anytime you can meet your hero, it's a life-changing experience, I think. And when you have an opportunity to meet this many heroes, it's just multiplied. But the effect that it has on our students is an inspirational one. Instead of them simply saying, oh, that's a wonderful hero, what we hear from the students involved with the program is they turn to their teachers or they turn to their peers and they say, I think I could do that.
That was a really special honor for those students. But other Pinellas County students also had the opportunity to meet some Medal of Honor recipients during several school visits. We caught up with a couple of them at Dunedin High School and Richard O. Jacobson Technical High School.
He is a Medal of Honor recipient. Congressional Medal of Honor is the highest award for valor in action against an enemy force. Please help me welcome our special guest, Mr. Romeshay, who will share with you guys a very great.
The most important message I really hope the students got out of this is, each one of us can make a difference. That truly, deep down inside, we have the ability to do the right thing when the time comes. And it's never going to be too big. It's going to seem too scary. It's going to seem almost impossible. But we truly do have it deep down into us to stand up and do great things when the challenge is put in front of us.
Doesn't matter what your background is. Doesn't matter where you came from. I truly believe we as Americans have these great values that are instilled in us from our communities, our families. Courage, patriotism, honor, integrity, selfless service. That is something that I think is deep in our DNA.
So I'm planning on going into the military, and it's really humbling to hear the experiences that he's been through. To know he sets a great example of what I should strive to be like.
He said a lot about how even if you don't feel like, if you feel like you're ordinary, you can be extraordinary. You can do amazing things.
I strive to be like him one day, have his values, and serve up to the amount of service that he has.
Today really inspired me because it's amazing all the things that our men and women do to save us and keep us free in our country. It definitely inspires me because I'm planning on going to psychology to work with soldiers with post-traumatic stress disorder, so it makes me understand what I really want to do to help others who help me daily.
You're going to be faced with something that you think is going to be so beyond your imagination to overcome. I tell you, you got it in you to stand up and do the right thing for the right reasons.
Throughout history, we hands down have the most professional, well-organized military than this world has ever seen. And just the pride and the spirit of the Corps and the camaraderie that is built throughout that network and that service is something I wish every American could be exposed to. It's almost indescribable. But for those that have never put on the uniform, though, it's just as important to live that American dream and be, the follow-on example for our next generation. That motivation that keeps you going is that understanding that you have great people around you. For me, it was those guys I served with, to my left and right, that I knew if the roles were ever reversed, they would find that next step, that one more step to take to come get me. And that's the thing, is you don't have to run the marathon right now. You just got to take that one step. And once you take that second step, and then that third one. And then when you look back, you see, I've just gone 26 miles.
The importance of loving yourself as well as loving others, and how the 6 character traits can affect your life and help you improve yourself and do better as you move forward in your either school career or at a job career or anything. It's important that a lot of people know what the Medal of Honor is and how it influences, and I think it should influence a lot of people to try to do better in their life and take it from the recipients on how to use the words in their daily life, like integrity and commitment. Those are 2 of probably the most important words that you can use to really just improve yourself. And I think a lot of people should know that.
He told us about the 6 characteristics that affected our life. The integrity is the most important one, and courage. Courage, you stand up for yourself, be brave.
Well, for one, I got a whole lot. I learned more deeply about the 6 core values. I learned how Mr. Luttrell, more depth about his life and what he went through, even in combat. I just basically learned a whole bunch about courage and everything that is basically what we all need in our lives.
I learned a lot. It was very inspirational about how he told us he had a rough childhood and how he went through everything that he did and still managed to pull through and become what he's become. It's something of respect and integrity, as he stated. He went above and beyond and did what he had to do, that he stated. He said he only did his job, when it seems as if he went to extreme extents to save the people that he did. I believe every child in high school should learn about the Medal of Honor. It's a really, really, really important thing to learn. Show you courage, integrity, and all the other characteristics that he stated today.
It has been a great year and a half learning about the Medal of Honor and the Character Development Program. From teacher trainings and the delivery of character lessons, to student initiatives focused on deepening understanding of the 6 core character traits and hearing from Medal of Honor recipients, we have learned a lot about courage, sacrifice, patriotism, citizenship, commitment, and integrity. As we continue to grow in our understanding of these character traits, it is important to reflect on the meaning of each and work to exemplify them every day.